The Knicks and Nets get physical at the Garden with Patrick Ewing and Derek Coleman, the key players in a controversial referee's decision that could have cost the Knicks today's game, if not the series. Mike Keenan and the Rangers, series number 2 underway at the Garden against Jim Schonfeld and the Capitals tonight. The current Devils simply could not solve another tough goaltender. Boston's John Casey, game 1 of their set today. The Oakland A's managed to pull out the final game of their weekend series with the Yankees. The Mets use home run power at Shea to defeat the Dodgers in the rubber game of their set. We've got highlights, plus another tragedy in racing, Mike Quick on a local bound for Notre Dame, and more next. Hi again, everybody. Half hour late due to the length of tonight's Rangers game. This is Bob Page with our half-hour edition of the MSG Sports Desk, asking the question, how stupid now do certain members of the New Jersey Nets look? Guys like Jason Williams, who had guaranteed publicly a victory over the Nets, and yes, guys like Kenny Anderson and even Derek Coleman, who had talked similar trash coming into this series. This afternoon at the Garden, the Knicks not only overcame the Nets, but some stupidity on the part of referee Mike Mathis to beat New Jersey by the score of 90-81. So the Knicks take a commanding 2-0 lead in the best-of-5 affair, and they can wrap it up back at the Meadowlands Arena on Wednesday night. What on earth was Mathis thinking about when Ewing was bumped by Derek Coleman midway through the second quarter? Patrick didn't retaliate, yet Mathis hit him with his second technical of the game anyway. Automatic ejection. Charles Oakley picked up the slack. He had 20 points and 11 rebounds in the first half alone. Knicks go up 14 there. They held the Nets to just 3 points in the 5.5 minutes left in the quarter after Ewing was kicked out. Oakley 25 points, 24 rebounds in the game. Chuck Daly and company buried 55-33 at intermission. The third quarter saw the Nets roar back in Ewing's absence. D.C. blocks Derek Harper, then hustles back up court to take a return pass from Chris Morris and dunk. Coleman had 15 points, 21 rebounds. But the Nets never got closer than 4 points to Pat Riley's Knicks. Final play of the third quarter, Kevin Edwards hits a jumper at the buzzer. Knicks' lead was down to just 6 going into the final stanza. Edwards shot only 3 of 12, had 11 points. Now, 4-point game, 70-66 for the Knicks. John Starks and Charles Smith worked the pick and roll for a monster Smith jam. He made the free throw, and New York was on its way. Great effort by Oakley here, battling down low for the rebound, then tossing it out to Hubert Davis for a three-pointer. He had 12 points on the afternoon. And coming off the bench in Ewing's stead was Herb Williams to give the Knicks a nice effort. He had 11 points, some perseverance here. Kenny Anderson had 21 points to lead New Jersey in a game they had to win with Ewing out of action, but didn't. Mark my words, that will cost the Nets this series.
If I'm going to get kicked out of a game, I wish, I would like to at least do something, to be kicked out. I think I'm a big part of this team, and to kick me out, without any justification, I think that's wrong. I mean, it could have hurt us. I'm very happy that we won the ball game. I thought that the guys did a tremendous job, Charles Oakley in particular, to come up with a big effort.
They seemed to really pick it up and got even more intense defensively, offensively, and really soared on the lead. And then come out at half, and you've got to just go play, and we scrambled back in it, but we just had too many people that could not make any shots.
When Patrick got thrown out, I think that everybody just switched into another gear, and we stepped it up, and we had to, because he was our main threat. So I think when Herb came in, and I said, well, this is my time to do something else. I just got the shots and just kept fighting loose balls, and I don't get a lot of plays run, but hey, just one of them days, and hopefully, knock on wood, I can have a few more like that through the playoff.
This is not unexpected for me. I know my players had the audacity to talk in terms of winning here. I knew what this was going to be all about. I reminded of them at half of those kinds of statements, how foolish they are. I fully expected we would have a very hard time winning either one of these games. I do know we have to win one to win this series on this floor, but more importantly, we've got to try to protect home court.
Also today, Chicago grabbed a 2-0 lead in its series with the Cleveland Cavaliers winning at home over the Cavs 105-96. And there were 2 games out west on this date. This afternoon, Kevin Johnson had 38 points and 9 assists. Phoenix defeated Golden State to go up 2-0 in that series despite 32 points from Brooklyn native Chris Mullin, who led the Warriors. And tonight, Houston just about to wrap up a victory over Portland. That game is in the final seconds, and the Rockets will lead that series also 2-0. We'll hear from the Devils on what went wrong this afternoon, look back at tonight's Rangers victory over the Capitals, and have more right after we pause for these messages.
It's the final days of the Major League Sales event at your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer.
It ain't over till it's over.
The deals of the spring are coming to an end. Hurry in for 2-9 financing or $500 cash back on Ford Pro.
It ain't over till it's over.
Lease a Taurus for $249 a month for 24 months with $1,837 down. Great deals on trucks are almost over, too.
Hey, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. I guess it's over really soon.
Hurry, it's the final days of the Major League Sales event. See your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer now.
Sports Desk is brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford dealers who are winning back America with 5 of the top 10 bestsellers.
What you did not hear on our just concluded Rangers postgame show, some interesting comments from Washington's all-star defenseman Kevin Hatcher, who was overheard to say as he left the ice to his Washington teammates, quote, "We can beat this bleeping team. They ain't nothing." End quote. Well, tonight, the Rangers' quest for their first Stanley Cup in 54 years started a new chapter. They did defeat the Washington Capitals, as just seen live here on MSG, 6-3. It was Game 1, the second round playoffs. Rangers came out showing no ill effects, no rust from their week-long layoff. Jeff Bukulum drilling Michael Vavanka, who did score the Caps' first goal, but Brian Noonan breaks a 1-1 tie here at the 16:28 mark of the first period. Then after ex-Ranger Mike Ridley had scored early in the second, Brian Leach puts New York ahead for good at 12:47 of the second on the power play. His third goal of the postseason, 3-2 Rangers. 4 minutes later, Rangers begin to pull away. It's Noonan beating Don Beaupre again for his second goal of the night and third of the playoffs. So the score was 4-2 going into the third period. Greg Gilbert and Ridley then traded goals before Mark Messier beat lead-footed defenseman John Slaney to the puck. In on Beaupre, beautiful breakaway goal at the 14:30 mark to put it away. Messier with 5 goals in the playoffs. Mike Richter made 27 saves. Game 2 live on MSG2 from the Garden on Tuesday night. Now, whether they left it on the ice after that grueling and thrilling first-round victory over the Buffalo Sabres, whether Martin Brodeur left it on the ice after his great individual play in that series, neither he nor the Devils particularly sharp this afternoon over the Meadowlands Arena in dropping a 2-1 decision to the Boston Bruins. It was Game 1 of their second round of the playoffs as well. The 20-year-old rookie did make 27 saves today, but at least one of the Boston goals was soft. 5:02 into the opening period, rookie Brian Smolinski hit on Brodeur, beats him on the glove side, his third of the playoffs. Now watch this. Just 2 minutes, 20 seconds later, it's one-time Ranger David Shaw somehow putting the puck in on the short side to give the Bees the eventual winning goal. 13:22 of the first on the power play. Devils pulled to within 1. When another ex-Ranger, Bernie Nichols, burns John Casey on the short side, and that was all the scoring in the game. Casey made 34 saves, including a dazzling one here on Bill Garrett in the second period. Then in the third period, Casey came up big several times once more, including this one on John McClain. Boston will try to make it a 2-0 lead in Game 2 of the series on Tuesday night.
I think maybe their experience may have helped them. You know, we had a lot of guys. This team hasn't got by the first round since 86 or 88 or something like that. So, you know, it is tough. And, you know, one thing you learn in sports is this was just one series. We set out for a goal, and our goal is to win 4 series. And, you know, I think the first 10 minutes we definitely weren't prepared for it. And, you know, I think hopefully we learned from it that you have to get back up in that high for the start of the next series when it starts, and you can't wait that long, and you know we did that, and it definitely cost us.
It takes 4 games, obviously, to knock a team out, and just because you lose 1 game, I mean, you got to keep your spirits up. You got to, you know, keep focused and know what you have to do to win the next game. You know, it's tough to lose at home, but hey, we got to put that behind us now and look forward to the next game.
I had probably 1 bad goal against David Shaw, and after that, you know, I made some good saves on Bork and another guy in front, and to keep the game, you know, at 2-1, and you know, I could have went both ways after that. Like I said, when you're allowed 2 goals, you don't expect to lose.
Yeah, I think both teams are a little tired now. You know, both teams I think came out quick, You know, the first period, because the excitement of a new series and advancing, you know, there's 8 teams fighting for the same thing now, the cup. And I think then at the end of the game, you know, I think both teams were a little tired. You know, basically, you know, we deserved to win. We played good enough to win. But we can, you know, but we can play better, and we're going to have to, and they'll play better because they have to.
Bill Guerin later ripped New Jersey fans for today's attendance. Disgraceful. 13,800 at the Meadowlands Arena. Devils fans who did not show up should be ashamed. Keith Elias, Notre Dame recruit Gus Ornstein. Much more still to come on this 30-minute edition of the MSG Sports Desk. But next, it's baseball. After again, this time on.
Get the inside scoop on the New York Knicks as they get ready for Game 3 versus the New Jersey Nets. It's a special edition of New York Knicks Game Night, Wednesday night at 7:30 right here on MSG.
Back when baseball truly was the national pastime, ball players were heroes and great teams legendary. Now, Sports Illustrated brings you remarkable home movie footage of baseball's glory days in the award-winning 2-video set, When It Was a Game. And best of all, both videos are free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated. When It Was a Game features never-before-seen home movie footage shot by the players themselves, bringing the ghosts of baseball's past to life. There's Gehrig and the Babe, Williams and DiMaggio, Ebbets Field, Fenway Park, and it's all in spectacular color. Call now and get both of these award-winning videos, along with 54 issues of Sports Illustrated, including the swimsuit issue for only $1.47 an issue. Save over 50% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. There's nothing like the magic of When It Was a Game. And there's nothing in the world like Sports Illustrated. Get into it.
Rangers battle the Capitals in Game 2 of their Eastern Conference playoff, Tuesday night on MSG2. And the relay throw is not in time. That baby's gone. Home run from Manning. He did it. No-hitter for Jim Abbott. On the track, the home run. Jimmy Key retired 10 men in a row. Left center field. Long run. Bernie Williams. He's there. It's to clear the field. The Yanks head for Anaheim to take on the Angels, Tuesday night on MSG.
Welcome back to the show. The Yankees dropped the finale of their series at Oakland this weekend, losing big 8-1 to the A's this afternoon, a game we had live for you right here on MSG. The verdict snapped what had been a 12-game A's losing streak. It's amazing how Tony La Russa and Sandy Alderson have let what should have been a dynasty team go to hell this quickly. Top of the first, A's open the scoring in the game. Troy Neal delivers a base hit to left off loser Melito Perez. Now 2-0 in the third. Luis Polonia, the worst base runner in Yankees history, thrown out by a mile attempting to steal. A's broke it open with 3 runs in the 6th after Mike Bordick's RBI single. Bordick and Stan Javier come home on Geronimo Baroa's triple off Melito. 5-0 the A's led, and when Buck Showalter promptly yanked Perez, Melito showed some fire in the dugout. And that was about all the fire the Yankees showed in this one. In the 8th inning, Neal was facing Scott Kamenicki in on relief because he was not scheduled to start the next 5 days. Cammy not impressive. Neal's long drive to right goes for a bases-loaded 3-run single as Paul O'Neill holds him to first. Bobby Witt was the winner. The Yanks at California and live here on MSG Tuesday night. Also in the American League, the Angels warmed up for that one in a big way, huh? Blown out at home 10-1. In fact, Boston swept them. The Red Sox are now 18-7. They are 2.5 games up on both the Yankees and second-place Orioles in the American League East because the Orioles were shut out at Seattle 6-0. Chris Bosio, 2 others combined on a 7-hitter. Texas won at Cleveland despite 2 home runs by Eddie Murray. Chicago and Jack McDowell beaten again. The Cy Young winner falls to 1-4. John Doherty, the Eastchester native, got the victory for the Tigers. Kansas City over Milwaukee 6-2 in the first game of a doubleheader as David Cohn won his 4th straight start, and the Royals also took the nightcap, beating the Brewers 7-3. And finally in the junior circuit, Dave Winfield sacked fly in the 7th, snapped a 2-2 tie, and Mamaroneck Scott Leyes followed with a 3-run homer, lifting the Twins to a 7-3 victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. The Mets of the National League story coming up next. Right now it's time for our regular Sunday night feature.
It's the Nobody Beats the Wiz MSG SportsDesk Challenge. Last week's winner knew that Brian Leach played for Boston College in 1986-87. This week's challenge is, who was the first free agent signed by the Yankees? For your chance to win a $100 Nobody Beats the Wiz gift certificate, look for the Nobody Beats the Wiz MSG SportsDesk Challenge entry forms at the Nobody Beats the Wiz nearest you. Or send in a postcard with your answer, plus your name, address, and phone number to the Nobody Beats the Wiz MSG SportsDesk Challenge. P.O. Box JAF 3210, New York, New York 10116.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Infinity Luxury Automobiles. Infinity, it's everything that's possible.
An interview with Princeton's Keith Elias and a horrible tragedy in auto racing still to come. But after that embarrassing loss to the Dodgers yesterday, in which the Mets blew 3 different 5-run leads, they bounced back nicely today. Mets defeated the Los Angeles Dodgers 7-4 in the rubber game of their 3-game series at Shea. Dallas and the Mets fell behind 2-1 in the 5th when Raul Mondesi hit a solo homer off Pete Smith. But in the bottom of the same inning, Parsippany, New Jersey product Joe Orsulak connects off Pedro Estacio for a 3-run homer to put New York ahead 4-2. Smith eventually got the victory, but not before he gave up 2 more runs in the 6th to tie the game once more. Pinch hitter Chris Gwynn delivers an RBI single, and it was 4-all. Mets went ahead for good in the bottom of the 6th against ex-Met reliever Roger McDowell. This is Jeremy Burnitz, who takes McDowell out to left field for a 2-run homer, his second in as many days following a season-long slump. 6-4 Mets, making the crowd of some 25,000 happy. In the 7th inning, Todd Hundley capped the scoring with a second of 2 solo homers he hit. Hundley now has 8 round trippers on the season. John Franco earned his 6th save for the Mets to open a 3-game set with the San Francisco Giants tomorrow night at Shea. Giants lost at Philadelphia this afternoon 6-4. Richmond Hills native Heathcliff Slocum got the victory. He's now 3-0, and the win came despite Matt Williams' 11th home run of the season. He shares the major league lead with Gary Sheffield, who homered in Florida's 9-4 romp over the Cincinnati Reds. Montreal Expos sweep the Padres, their 5th straight win overall, winning today 3-2 in 11 innings. Paul Wagner pitched a 3-hitter and doubled home 2 runs as the Bucks swept 3, surprisingly, from the Atlanta Braves, winning this afternoon 4-1. Colorado got a 2-run homer from Howard Johnson. In fact, he hit it off his former Met teammate Anthony Young as the Rockies won at Chicago 6-2. Here we go again with Young. He falls to 0-2 on the season. And Greg Jeffries, another ex-Met, had a 2-run single in the 8th inning. Bob Tewksbury now 6-0 after St. Louis defeats Houston by the score of 6-5. You may have read that Sports Illustrated feature this week on Notre Dame's quarterback of the future. They are saying that Ron Powlus is going to become one of the greatest players in the history of ND football. But if one local product here in the New York City area has anything to say about it, he may not play that much after all. Mike Quick has a story of another up-and-coming Notre Dame quarterback, even though football may not even be his best sport.
I think hitting
for power. For average. At the Fieldston School in Riverdale, New York, Gus Ornstein has his priorities in focus, and it all hinges around numbers, like 3.7. That's his grade point average. 1220. That's the mark he achieved on the SATs. 6'5", 217. That's his tale of the tape, and he's put it all together to make himself one of the top 60 high school baseball prospects in the nation. Not too bad for a kid from the Northeast.
These guys, you know, they're playing in the southern states. They're playing, I don't know, 50-some games. We're playing 19. So when I go to these things like these showcases in Cincinnati that I went to this past summer, these guys, I'm going up against guys who are playing 65 games. I'm playing 19 games coming into those things. And, you know, I think they got the advantage over me in situations like that. But, you know, you still work hard, and I was successful in both. So I think I just got to work harder than those guys do.
He sure has. A converted third baseman, the Tenafly, New Jersey resident, made the switch to first when he arrived at the Ivy League school 2 years ago and put up a .490 average with 5 home runs and 36 RBI as a switch hitter, something he began experimenting with in the 6th grade.
Since I started doing it, you know, based on what the pitcher is, I feel just as confident both ways. I mean, last year I only got 4 at-bats righty. I'm natural righty, so I feel fine hitting either way.
1, 2, 3, repeat!
His greatest
games are definitely ahead of him. He has so much potential. I think the Major League scouts that have seen him see that potential and see what lies ahead for this kid. There you go. Nice and low.
He's a pretty good bat swing. He's got some speed to his bat, and he's got good form. It's not awkward. And then you see a big kid, 6'5", 200 pounds, playing first base, and you say, well, that's a pretty good spot for him.
Numerous major league teams have shown interest in Ornstein, but it's a good bet he'll show up in South Bend next year, not only as a baseball player, but a quarterback that Lou Holtz offered a full ride to after a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown senior season.
Right now, I think I got a good shot to go far in both. Yeah, I got all the tools in both sports, so I think that, when I get to college, I'll start to see which one I start to mature faster in, and then, I'll be able to make that decision further on.
MSG's Mike Quick reporting on Gus Ornstein, who, by the way, has a very proud father, Orrin Stevens, the former New York City area television sports commentator. Now it's time for our Coors Light Play of the Week, and it was the culmination of one of the greatest games in the history of the National Hockey League postseason. About 1:45 or so on Thursday morning from the Aud in Buffalo, where the Sabres and Devils had played through 3 scoreless 20-minute sudden death overtime period. No score in the game at this point. Most of us actually did stay up to the end of this. Finally, early in the 4th OT, it's Dave Hannon getting the puck. Martin Brodeur down, slips trying to get up, and Hannon lifts the puck over him for the game winner, though the Devils did come back to win Game 7 Friday and advance to round 2 in their current matchup against the Boston Bruins.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Coors Light. Aged ice cold for that pure taste of the Rockies. Reach for the silver bullet, the right beer now.
At Nobody Beats the Wiz, we care about our customers. It's our business to be sure that you're always satisfied. That's why we offer you the best price, the best product, and our exclusive 33-day test drive. Buy any product at Nobody Beats the Wiz. Take it home and try it out. If within 33 days you're not totally satisfied, bring it back and we'll refund your money. That's mistake-proof shopping. At Nobody Beats the Wiz, our customer service doesn't end when you leave the store. It's just beginning.
Another tragedy-filled weekend in the alleged sport of auto racing. Yesterday, a 31-year-old Austrian driver was killed in qualifying for the San Marino Grand Prix in Italy. Now, Ayrton Senna is dead as well. Senna, one of the most famous drivers in the entire world, a 3-time World Formula One king, succumbed to massive head injuries after crashing his car today in the race itself. Both deaths, as usual, part of the weekly macho exercise to determine who has the fastest car. This is the only tape we've seen of the incident, and it's only in slow motion. Senna trying to negotiate a turn at 185 miles per hour. He was kept alive on a life support system for a while after the race, but doctors later announced that at age 34, the great Ayrton Senna was auto racing's latest victim. And at Talladega, Alabama today, the 103rd lap of a 500-mile NASCAR event, driver Greg Sachs loses control and triggers a 7-car crash. Ken Schrader runs into the back of Mark Martin's Ford Thunderbird. Martin crashes into a guardrail. Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton, Chuck Brown, Loy Allen, Todd Bodine, and Jeff Gordon also involved. No one was injured, fortunately, from what we understand as you look at the replay. Dale Earnhardt won the race, his 7th career victory at Talladega. Pole sitter Ernie Irvan finished second. Both the Giants and Jets just concluding weekend minicamps. Former Princeton All-American running back Keith Elias is trying to make it with the Giants. He was signed as a free agent after no one took him in the NFL draft this past week. Dan Reeves, veritably crippled by off-season losses of key free agents, will need all the help he can get. And that means Elias could make this club. He had other offers, but the Gents promised him a serious look.
Everyone always wants to know how good they really are, and when I went to the All-Star games, there was a question of whether I could play with the big guys, so to speak. And so now, there's less questioning of myself, and the only questioning is there a spot here for me? Obviously, a lot of things went through my mind. Geography really wasn't one of them. A couple of teams offered me that were nearby, but I chose here because I thought this was a team where their attitude toward football mirrored my own. I feel good here. I have a good feeling from the running back coach, and I just think this is the place that I have the best opportunity to play, and I'm just happy to be here. I'm just going to sell out to try to get a spot on the team.
Now briefly in sports, a 27-year-old unknown named Mike Heinen today won the Houston Open golf tournament by 3 strokes. It was his first ever PGA victory. Raymond Floyd shot a 7-under par 65 today, and he won by 3 strokes in the seniors event at Las Vegas. And Sherry Steinhauer ended a 20-month drought with a 1-shot victory over Kelly Robbins at the LPGA event in Daytona Beach. In tennis, at the ATT Challenge match at Atlanta this afternoon, Michael Chang, Hoboken-born, defeated Todd Martin in 3 sets, gaining the victory there. And a big surprise from Hamburg, Germany, where defending champion Arantxa Sanchez stunned German native Steffi Graf to win the Citizen Cup, also in 3 sets. Graf thus sees her 36-match win streak come to an end. Don't forget, upcoming on the network, we've got the Rangers, Washington Capitals, Game 2, MSG 2, Tuesday night at 7:30. The Yankees, California, on MSG 1 later that night at 10 o'clock. And join us most evenings at 11 for more from the MSG Sports Desk. Good night.